You need to believe in yourself as much as I believe in you. A female singer with your voice in the Tejano market that can pack in a crowd like that. You're a one and only.
All right, Selena, this series on Netflix, it's a life story of the queen of Tejano music and iconic Mexican-American pop star, of course, Selena Quintanilla, though a pivotal part of her story is the influence of her father, as you just saw. Actor and Texan Ricardo Chavira, he plays her father, Abraham Quintanilla. He joins us now to share more on this highly anticipated series. Good morning, Ricardo.
Good morning, how are you?
Doing well, doing well. Nice to talk with a fellow Texan here. Now, you're from San Antonio. Much of Selena's career happened in San Antonio. This series must be a little more near and dear to your heart.
Yeah, she and I were born in the same year. We're about 4 months apart. And so we graduated the same year from high school. When I was going to high school and starting college, I was reading about her in our San Antonio Express News about the concerts she was holding in different venues across the city and across South Texas, or I was seeing telecasts of her on our local evening news, accepting awards at the Tejano Music Awards that was held in the Convention Center in San Antonio. So a lot of the story of the success of this family and of her success as a singer and as musicians, a musical family, was really kind of a bit of the landscape of my young adulthood. Her
success started with the inspiration of her dad. Let's start a family band. And that's kind of where the episodes start. So how deep are we going to dive into each episode?
We're covering the course of the span of, for Abraham at least, it's a 15, 16 year span that we're covering from the time she's about 9, 10 years old until the tragic death when she was about 23. So, and you get to see all of the growth of the family and the hardships and the struggles and the very kind of humble beginnings, which really resonated with me because there are scenes that happen in that movie, in the series that are indicative of things that happened to me and my family. There's a scene where they're all kind of crammed into one bedroom. And it just, when I remember reading it and I remember shooting it, and I remember thinking of when I was a boy, 8, 9, 10 years old, driving with my mother and my father down to Eagle Pass, Texas to spend the holidays in my abuelita's house. And how all my other tias and tios and my cousins, my primos were coming, and we'd all get crammed into sleeping bags, 10, 12, 13 of us sleeping across a linoleum floor in the living room.
But those are the best memories also. That's wonderful that you can relate that way. And actually I was going to say, you played this patriarch so well. It's almost as if you knew there was Abraham as a part of your family. Is that true?
Well, he is a Mexican-American man from South Texas of a certain age and of a certain generation. Okay. And I have one of those in my father. And I have several of those in my tios. So, even though, a lot of people have asked me, what was I able to meet Abraham and talk with him? And I was not. But I saw a lot of the tape of his interviews and the kind of man that how he carried himself. And I just, when I watched those tapes, I was like, this is not unlike things that I've seen from my father or from my tios.
I was actually going to ask if you had the chance to talk with Abraham, so I'm glad that we know that. But I think we can all, of anybody that's a part of the Hispanic culture, can relate to having some type of Abraham a part of our lives. Hey, quickly, before we run out of time, what's next for you? How often do you come back to Texas?
Well, I'm currently in Los Angeles. I have my son with me. He's doing school virtually with his school in San Antonio. So I had him come out for the Thanksgiving holiday. I've got a little bit more press and things to do here in LA. And then we make the long drive back to San Antonio. And I will be there definitely through the holidays and maybe a little bit longer. We'll see. I know there's some projects that I'm in discussions with and about. It's just, I think everything right now is just dependent on the virus. And how we get a hold of the situation nationwide. Our industry, I know, has been constantly pushing projects out. So we'll see.
I understand. As we all are just kind of waiting on standby. Ricardo, it was great talking with you, a fellow Texan, and we're all looking forward to the series. Congratulations on Selena, the series, and all your future endeavors.
Thank you so much for your time. You've been very considerate, and I'm always happy to talk to a fellow Texan.
Have a good one. Stay safe, stay healthy. You can watch Selena, this series. It's available right now on Netflix.
When I think about being on stage, and you on the bass and Suzette on the drums, nothing.